The day is here and this is crazy. First and foremost, I do want to go ahead and say, if you guys haven't got it from the thumbnail and the title, this is a full spoiler reading vlog for Crescent City Fury House of Flame and Shadow, babes. If you have not read this and want to read it, or you know, any of that, click off. Kindly click off. We'll wait. Okay, hopefully that gave you enough time to click off. Right now, it is quite literally 1:15 a.m. It's 1 o'clock in the morning on January 30th, and I went to the midnight release and got a copy of Crescent City. I thought we would start off the video with some of my theories and kind of just talking about the end of House of Sky and Breath a year later and upon a reread. So last month in December and the beginning of this year, I reread both of the books in preparation. I listened to the audiobook, and I swear that helped me memorize and actually understand politically and plot wise what was going on. I know that we're all excited about this book, but sometimes I wonder if the book of House of Sky and Breath didn't end off the way it did, if people would be as excited about this. I was really thinking that. I still think that, but when I reread the books, I was like, wow, I feel like these are underappreciated. The plot, the modern day-ness of it all, really enjoy them. I think that they are so much fun. Theories. I literally have no clue. Don't know how this book is going to end. I don't think, is it the Asteri? Is it the Asteri, or is that another completely different series? 30 seconds ago being I remember a lot, and then me being is it the Asteri? Sucking the souls and going to different, you know, realms and killing off the people, crazy. I don't think that we're gonna defeat them by the end of this book. I don't think that this book is going to have a happy ending. I think that it's gonna have another open ending, not as shocking as, you know, House of Sky and Breath and her showing up in Valeris. I do think that it's going to not end on a happy note. It will kind of feel a little bit of a completion, but you 100% understand that you're going to have to defeat the final boss in the fourth and final book. So I'm pretty sure there's only four books. So this one makes sense because, you know, she's having to go to hell and get Prince Adis and his help and stuff like that. I don't believe, because I'm literally I just don't understand what the fourth book would be about. This is too big of a villain to defeat in this book. I feel like the main priority is going to be, I feel like the main priority is going to have Hunt and Rune and everybody escape and kind of helping them out with that and figuring stuff out along the way, and how all of these portals and how all of these worlds come together. I think that that's going to be what it is. You guys know the deal though. I literally can't believe that this is here. It's so beautiful. Here we are. So I literally don't think I have a cohesive set of annotation stickers to go with this book, to fit the vibe, because usually I try to fit the vibe. I mean, I have these. I feel like these could work. Okay. My pen and pencil for writing and underlining. And I think I'm gonna use this highlighter. That's what we're doing. The other day when Sarah J Maas posted, for some reason, I just don't get why she posted the prologue in chapter 1. I skimmed it because I was I can't fight the feeling anymore of doing it. I don't want to read the whole entire thing in detail, so I skimmed it very quickly just to kind of get a gist. And I think I only read the prologue. And then because once I started getting to chapter 1 and I could tell it was Bryce in Valeris, I was I kind of just want to read this when the book comes out. Now we are reading it. We have a map, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys listen to me in Sarah's podcast episode that we never pay attention to the map, and now I'm looking at it. House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, House of Many Waters, House of Flame and Shadow. The book starting with, Behind knelt before her undying masters and contemplated how it would feel to tear out their throats. I am so interested to see what's going to happen with Lydia in this book. I'm so interested. I was right. Asteri is what they're called. Oh, I forgot that Pollux. Oh, I hate him so much. Rune and Bryce's dad is literally awful. He's in the little thing right now, and with the Asteri before them, because, you know, they're treacherous and we need to talk to their lineage. Shut up. Just shut up. Pollux is over here running his mouth. Anyway, and they're talking, and then their dad, the Autumn King, is neither of them have the right to call themselves my children anymore. And they're he's like basically asking like, has anybody found Bryce, like where she's at? And then they're like, oh, you're not gonna ask about your son. He says, I know where Rune is, he deserves to be there. No, why? And poor Rune, can we talk about how in the last book he literally was like, yo, Loki, I don't want to do this, but Bryce is in it, so I'm gonna be in it because I'm like I'm a good brother. And now look at where he's at. The mental image in my head right now. Listen. She stalked down the exposed steps into the heart of the chamber where 3 males hung from Gorzian shackles in the center of the room. Blood pooled beneath them, dribbling into the grate below their bare feet. She shut down every part of her that felt, that breathed. Athalar and Baxian dangled unconscious from the ceiling, their torsos patchworks of scars and burns in their back. The blood still oozed from the stumps where their wings had been. The Gorzian shackles had slowed their healing to near human levels, keeping them from dying entirely, but ensuring that they suffered through every moment of pain. That is... okay, how do I deal with this information in a healthy way? His lip was swollen from where Pollux had torn out his piercing. That is brutal. This is brutal. Oh my god. Baxian still hung unconscious. Pollux had beaten him into a bloody pulp last night after severing his and Athalar's wings with a blunt-toothed saw. Excuse me? Lydia's literally trying to speak to him mind to mind, and he is not letting her in. To end this chapter with get the barbed wire instead. How do we come back from this? Hey, how do we come back from this? Part 1. The drop. I don't know why this is making me laugh. It says, for a place that apparently wasn't hell, her surroundings sure appeared like it. The beautiful, powerful male in the center of the trio, literally rippling with shadows and stars. Rezan, he'd called himself, the one who looked so much like Rune. This can't... I was literally about to say, like, the fact that they keep on harping in on this, that like Rune and Rhys look so much alike, can't be coincidental, and the next words were, it couldn't be a coincidence. Valid, because I'm thinking the same thing, babe. What do you mean? Also, I did become really, really obsessed with Rune when like rereading the book, and if I know that him and Rhys look just like what? I love how literally he's always described as beautiful. Like everybody sees Rhys and they're like beautiful. We say it again. Bryce glanced to the warrior beside Rune's almost twin. I'm telling you, something is going to come of this, because literally, why do we keep referencing it? I don't know what's going to come of it, how they're going to be related, but why do we keep referencing? In the first chapter, we literally keep on saying it. What world is this? Bryce rasped, the words gravelly after Rune's body double had introduced himself. Like, why do we keep... okay, I get it. Said in a voice like midnight. Okay, I feel like we're really info dumping and my brain is not working right now. Like, I really feel like this is like important information. Like, she's talking about how they're asking her how she got there. And she's saying, a companion of mine gambled that he could send me to hell using his power, but I think that the star on her chest somehow acted as a beacon to the original world of the Star-Born people. So it's like, okay, if this is the original world of the Star-Born people, what the hell does that mean? And then it says, there's a prophecy in my world about my sword and a missing knife, that when they're reunited, so will the Fae of Midgard. The warrior spoke with a low voice that skittered down her spine. Rezan glanced at him with raised brows and translated for Bryce with equal menace, you're lying. Okay, guys, listen, I love you. Love you so much. Why are we doing that? Like, do you really think she would come? I mean, okay, wait, because if I was reading this in ACOTAR, I'd be like, yeah, she's a liar, she's a dirty liar. Like, I would definitely be saying that. So like, I need to not be biased. Rhys and Azzy are just over here trying to defend their people, you know? Listen, Bryce, you're getting a little too whatever with the Fae arrogance and entitlement. Girl, call is coming from literally inside the house. Wait, and I just realized that Rhys can go into the minds of people and Rune can like mind speak. Why did I just realize this? What does this mean? What does this mean? He's asking about the sword. So Rhys, Amren is like, go in her mind, Rhys, like, why are we playing these games? And then Rhys talks to her in her mind and is like, I don't go where I'm not invited. Like, I'm not going to go into your mind. And she's like, yeah, don't. And I'm like, okay. He's like asking about like what she said about the sword. And she says is it Thea or Prince Peleus, depending on what propaganda is being spun. And it says, Amren stiffened slightly. Rezan slid his eyes to her, clocking the movement. What does this mean? I would like to know right this second. Thank you. I'm even more confused because then Amren says no one has spoken those names here in a very, very long time. They once dwelled here. So this is it then. This is where the Midgard Fae originated. Ancestors left this world when we went to Midgard and then we forgot where we came from. He says we have no such stories about our people migrating to another world. Yet Amren let out a small choked sound. Rezan turned slowly, a bit incredulous. Do we? Amren picked at an invisible speck. It's murky. I went in before, but when I came out there were rumors that a great number of people had vanished, and as if they had never been. Some said to another world, others said they'd been moved to distant lands, still others said they'd been chosen by the cauldron and spirited away somewhere. Okay, listen, this is so much info dumping. Okay, so it seems that the running theory is that this world is the missing third world that like was able to push the Asteri out. Like how at the end of House of Sky and Breath we learned that it was like Hell, the other planet, and then maybe this one? Like we're able to beat the Asteri? I am literally... This is like info dumping at its finest, and I really can't do this at 2 a.m. I wish there was a camera following me around. Well, actually, I don't wish there was a camera following me around at all times, but I wish you guys would have just seen how frantically I was running to get my camera, and I would turn it on and forgot that I had the battery on charge. It is actually noon the next day. I went to bed last night. I'm pretty sure in the middle of a chapter, like the psychopath I am. Yeah, look at this. Just straight up in the middle of the chapter because it was like almost 3 a.m. and we were just info dump, info dump, info dump. And I was like... I can't do this right now. So I literally fell asleep and then I slept in this morning and I just had a chaotic day. You guys don't care, you guys aren't here for that. All of that to say, I was like, okay, I'm gonna scarf down my breakfast that I'm eating at noon, and then I'm gonna just like dedicate the rest of the day to this book. And then I was texting Sarah and Haley in the group chat, and then they start talking about it, and I was like, literally, I'm still eating, and I'm now picking up the book because I'm like, I have to have it in my hands now. She like used the orb to show them, like I was so interested how she was going to explain, especially with like the language barrier, how she was going to explain like how they just, I'm not laughing. I am, but how they're going to explain the like machine guns and stuff. Like, could you, like, well, I'm saying could you imagine, I'm literally reading Reese finding out about guns. I need to read Cassian finding out about guns. I was just like, how are we gonna break the news to them that there's cars? Who's letting Cassian behind the wheel? You know what I mean? She's telling them and showing them like in the orb thing, which so creative. How did I forget about that? Like that's what he did when they went to the Court of Nightmares and he told Moore's dad about Valeris and he showed him like through the orb. So that's what they're doing right now. And it says surprise and dread on her captors' faces. Like when they're learning about these weapons. Because, I mean, think about it. Reese is like, I got this. And then she's like, but they have these. And it's like guns and all of these different things. And he's like, what is that? I don't know either. Actually, I mean, okay. I do know. I'm gonna continue reading unless there's like some information that's dropped. I'm just gonna kind of try to get through this and then maybe like end of chapter update. So I just finished the chapter. Forgive, and this is like literally the chapter that I already like skimmed through. I don't understand why Bryce didn't just like outwardly tell them about, I mean, I do understand though, like it's kind of like a protection thing, like she didn't want to tell them about her powers, but you also have to understand that you are trying to look for allies to help you, and if you start off being allies and you're lying and withholding a crucial piece of information from them, they're gonna be whatever. So basically they give her this like silver bean. It's so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna get through this language barrier the whole entire book? And then Sarah J. Maas just like writes up this random silver bean that now she can translate their language. Why didn't we do that from the jump? Why have we spent the first part translating? Why didn't we just give it to her? You know, they give that to her and then it like makes her have a reaction and like makes her powers come out, and then it makes Azriel's knife, like dagger, obviously because you know her sword and the dagger are like two of the same. It's like singing for her, and then they see the tattoo lit up on her back, and Amren says the glowing letters inked on her back, they're the same as those in the Book of Breathings. It says then Azriel said in a soft lethal voice, explain or you die. Okay. is this going to turn me into an as-usual girly? Now all of a sudden we're in Therion's point of view. I forgot how much these books jump around point of view. Just read the first Therion point of view, and it's so sad. You know what, like, he's definitely not one of my faves, like, by far he's not one of my faves, but it's sad because he's with the Viper Queen because he was so desperate to get away from the River Queen, and like just the venom that he's taking and like having to fight, and him and Ari are in there like the dragon from the last book with the astronomer. And now all of a sudden I think we're in Ethan's point of view, and it's like, okay Ethan, last time that we were chatting you got that wolf out, right? Where is she? Like, why are we not talking about that yet? Ethan is trying to get Therion and save him with Declan and Flynn. I love Flynn. Flynn saying this makes it feel real, because Ethan was like, so Rune's life means more, and it says Rune is in a fucking dungeon being tortured by the Asteri. Like, we already knew this, but oh, it hurts. It physically hurts. And Flynn's like losing sleep because he needs to save Rune. Stop. Would this be better for my mental health if I stop now? Who knows? Ooh, okay. So her name, the wolf, the alpha that he saved, is Sigrid. I am so glad that he got her out of there, because I was really so happy, like in that bonus chapter, that he saves her. And I'm really also happy to know that she is like out of that tank, and she's like, I am here and I mean business. What's going on? I'm going with you. You're not getting rid of me. I'm gonna be annoying, but that's because you need me. Okay, so they were banished because Sabine defeated her father, because that was her brother, and she defeated him, and instead of killing him she sent him off to be like exiled, and then he had to give her up. Okay, I didn't know how soon we would be here, but the time has come that we're in Hunt's POV. Before I get to this, the only thing that's been happening is that we went back to Bryce, and she is still like being questioned, and they bring in Nesta, because you know like how Nesta's powers in A Core Silver Flame, like she can tell when something is made, so they bring her in, and Nesta was like, yeah, I told you guys that it wasn't just the sword, that there was something else made on her. And then basically, you know, Nesta's being Nesta, and she's talking to Bryce, and she's like, it would be a lot easier if you just cooperated. And Bryce's attitude, I don't know. Here's the thing, double-edged sword, because I feel like my love for the ACOTAR characters do prevail over majority of Crescent City characters, and they're just so familiar and you know them. So her having this like self-righteous whatever attitude towards them as they're just trying to question her, because let's be real, we all read ACOTAR. You know that this isn't usually how they deal with things. Like, usually they're very aggressive, and they're just trying to ask her questions, and she's just not being very willing. Nesta's like, you should really just say it, you know, you should just say it. And then Bryce is like, what does being made mean? Like, what does that mean? And granted, they're kind of giving her breadcrumbs and then kind of threatening her, but not like giving anything. But I see both sides, because it's like, she is nervous because she doesn't know where she's at, doesn't know these people, and she thinks that all Fae, she even says it in her point of view, she's like, Faes, like the Fae are terrible, like, and these people seem the same way. And I was like, but you can't take offense, like, she doesn't know. She was doing all of that. Basically, they're like, okay, cool, so you don't want to say anything, bye, we shall try to speak to you at a later date. And she's just in the dungeon, and she's like throwing peas, and she makes a comment like, it like whatever is below the, you know, whatever. God, what am I saying? Anyway, we're following Flynn, Declan, Mark, Ethan, and Sigrid, whatever. I wish I had the audiobook on hand so I knew how to pronounce the name. Basically, they just ran into Sabine, and the last chapter ended off with Sabine looking at Sigrid. I wish I knew. This is gonna be another Emile situation where I literally called him like Emile the entire, ugh. She just says, you look exactly like him. Sabine's talking about her brother. But anyway, then we go to chapter 4. Pain and Dark and Quiet. That was the entirety of Hunt Athalar's world. No, awesome. This is pain. This is literally painful to read. It literally says, but inside him, beyond that sea of pain and despair, Bryce was the entirety of his world, his mate, his wife, his princess. Prince Hunt Athalar Dannon. He would have hated the last name were it not for the fact that it was a marker of her ownership over his soul, his heart. There was Bryce and nothing else. Not even Pollux's barbed wire whips could rip her face from his mind. Not even the blunt-toothed saw had severed it from him, even as it had honed through his wings. And people don't like Hunt. Underrated. Don't go breaking my heart. Like, I say that to Sarah Bass, and then she just continues to do it. This is so painful to read. Literally, not him blaming himself. I can't do this. Hey, do you guys see how many heartbreaking tabs that I've had to... They literally are trying to make jokes and laugh. They're trying to make jokes and laugh. Hunt couldn't stop laughing. The sound bordered on hysteria. The fact that Hunt is still trying to be his sassy self, this is painful, and I don't know if I can keep reading this. Bryce teleported down into the little grate thing where she knows that there's like a beast lurking. They're saying they killed Sabine. They shot her face off. Viper Queen showed up, and she's like, you guys can crash here, to like Declan, Flynn, Mark, Ethan, everybody. They go meet Therian. Therian's like, oh my god, hey guys. But he's like high out of his mind. What is going on right now? Bryce and Nesta, like Bryce went down in the caves or whatever, and Nesta is now with her and they're walking, whatever. I don't get Lydia's point of view. I don't know what she's doing. She's taking like the fire sprite. Is it the fire sprite queen? Trying to use her for something. I don't even know what she's using her for. We got introduced to this other character that like put the curse on this fire sprite. I'm like, what is going on, Lydia? What are we doing? And then Ethan is trying to hold everybody together. Everybody is falling apart. They're kidnapped by the Viper Queen. What is going on? We are everywhere. We're not getting to a general consensus to start the storyline here. We're all sprouting in a bunch of different directions. Okay, so it turns out the Shadows was actually Apollyon. And now the Princes of Hell are down there and they're watching Hunt and trying to talk to him. Hunt is like, hey, did Bryce make it? And Apollyon's like, what are you talking about? Where is Bryce? Kind of what we're here for. Where's she at? And then Hunt says, horror leached through Hunt colder than ice. He must have made some pitiful noise because Apollyon said one moment before the hysterics Athalar. Now I'm even more confused because basically this makes sense because Hunt is like, she went to find you guys. Like, what do you mean? And Adis says, is it possible after everything? And his brother says, don't fall into romanticism. The star might have guided her, Adis countered. And so because obviously, is it Adis? Or one of the brothers that Thea, or Princess Thea, that is from the other world that Bryce's star power stems from, and how she was in love with one of the Princes of Hell and they tried to take on the Asteri and it didn't work, blah, 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 blah. And they can't find each other because she's in a different world. So this seems like he's like, is it possible that we can go to this other world? Now I'm even more confused. It says, please, Hunt cut in. Tell me where she is. Apollyon said to his brother, we must leave. Then what was the point of watching me from the shadows? To ensure that we can continue to rely on you when the time comes. To do what? Hunt ground out. What you were born to do, to accomplish the task for which your father brought you into existence. I have no father. Adis' expression was sad as he stepped out of the shadows. You spent too long asking the wrong question. The black crown once again circling your brow is not new torment from the Asteri. It's existed for millennia. Tell me the truth for once. Stay alive, Athalar. I am more confused than where I started. Okay. We are getting somewhere. I had seen someone post on TikTok that Lydia reminds them of like Rhys, like what we knew about Rhys just based off of like the first ACOTAR book. Everybody was like, oh, Rhys is like this terrible like person, and then you got to know Rhys and what he was going through, and everybody was like, oh, that is literally Lydia. And so basically she just went to the Viper Queen and she's talking to Declan, Flynn, everybody, and she's like, I am going to free them in 3 days and I need your guys' help. Like, you guys need to be there. We need to get on this boat. Therian, I need you. Like, Ethan, I need all of you guys. You guys have to listen to me. I am Agent Daybright, okay? Flynn, listen, I love Flynn and I understand that he's coming from a place of being scared and hurt right now, but he's low-key talking crap on Bryce. At the beginning, he told Ethan, like, Bryce is gone. Like, where's Bryce at? It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about right now. Think about Bryce. Do you think Bryce would ever just leave? She's Agent Daybright, and Flynn is not having it. And I understand. Flynn is literally looking at the hind, and he's like, you are literally the hind. Like, what do you mean? Because Ethan's like, she smells of Rune. Like, this is all making sense. Flynn's not having of it. She says, because Flynn says, don't for one effing second believe this. She probably rolled around in his blood in the dungeon. She said, I would never hurt him. Everything I've done recently, everything I'm doing now has been to keep Rune alive. Do you know how hard it is to keep Pollux at bay, to convince him to go slow? Do you have any idea what that's like? She screamed the last part at Flynn, while who backed away a step. The hind heaved a breath, shaking. I need to get him out. If you don't help me, then his death is on you, and I will destroy you, Tristan Flynn. She's like pleading her case with him. It's like a page later, and Flynn says, does Rune know? Yes, the hind said. He, Athalar, and Bryce know. Baxian doesn't. You lied to Rune. We lied to each other. Our identities weren't supposed to be revealed. We both went too far. Why bother to save them? Rune and Hunt have no value to Ophion other than being good fighters, and Argos isn't connected with Ophion at all. Hunt Athalar is valuable to Bryce Quinlan and to activating her power. Baxian Argos is a powerful warrior and skilled spy. He is therefore valuable to all of us. And Rune, Ethan asked, brows high, Rune is valuable to me. She's gonna get her man. She is going to get her man. Oh my god, is Rune gonna kill Pollux? What if Lydia dies? Also, can we talk about Bryce for a second? Why are we still in the cave? Why are we in the cave every single time that we're in Bryce's point of view, and now we're seeing these carvings? And I feel like every point of view we're going to get, like, I feel like we're going to be in the cave this entirety of the book, because the little snippet we got on Sarah J Maas's thing was like how she was running towards Nesta and Azriel out of the cave. Imagine she spends the whole entire book in the cave, but she's somehow gaining information while in the cave, and it's like her and Nesta the whole entire time, and they're just basically trying to get through this cave, and she's just like learning information of that world. I feel like that's how this book is going to go. The way I'm so annoyed with Bryce right now, she had like fallen and her hands like weren't healing, and Azriel was like asked multiple times like, why aren't your hands healing? Like, your knees are healing. And Nesta's like, ah, and Bryce is like spinning BS. I don't know. And Azriel was like, huh. But basically Bryce the whole entire time had been purposely like picking at the scabs so she could leave blood, so the worm could come and distract Azriel and Nesta. The worm comes, and Nesta and Azriel are like, oh my god, they're trying to fight it, and then Bryce is trying to run, and then she realizes that she like hears them screaming, and then like doesn't see any of their power anymore, because then she comes across this like thing on the wall, and it's like Fae against Fae battling, and she decides to turn back around, and this is when we get the infamous quote that Sarah J Maas posted. But Bryce began running again, hurtling through the cave back toward Nesta and Azriel, and prayed there was something left for her to save. But I am so annoyed with her in this moment, because I understand that she's like trying to be like, I don't trust them, like I can't, you know, show my trade. You almost killed them. Nesta was like, yeah, I knew you were gonna come back. She's laying on the ground like to try to get Bryce to come over to her, and Azriel's like, give me one reason not to bury this knife in your spine. And Bryce goes, because I came back to help. I'm like, I did come back to help. I made a mistake. Not saying I didn't make a mistake. You guys have never made a mistake? Oh, so you're not human. Oh, wait, they're not. Wait. Ethan is too good for everybody. Ethan is way too good for everybody. The fact that he accepted this fight so that he could mainly get everybody out, but also free Tharian, where Tharian didn't have any ties to anything. And like, I guarantee you he's probably gonna have to fight like Ariadne or something and like kill her. Like Ariadne can't live. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This whole entire being in the cave, boring. I kind of love Nesta and Azriel's friendship. They're definitely very close, because she's wielding the mask right now, and Azriel's like, Nesta, do not do that. Bare minimum. Wow, he cares about her. Wow. Oh my god, she brought the skeleton to life. Okay, yep, it's gonna do it to me again. If you guys have seen the 24-hour readathon, there's like a 24-hour readathon out there where I finish A Court of Silver Flames, and I sobbed, and Nesta has the mask on to defeat the worm, and Azriel is like flown over to her, and he's like trying to get her to take off the mask, but obviously, like, you know, like when she puts the mask on, she's like not really there anymore, and he's like, Cassian is waiting for you, like you need to take off the mask, like you need to go home, and she doesn't take off the mask. Gwen and Emery are waiting in Fae Running Lane. The silver flame flared at that. Then Azriel said, Nyx is waiting too. The silver flame went out entirely. Oh my god. The ending of I really need to reread A Court of Silver Flames because that book, now that I just love Nesta, it like a new appreciation for the book is there, and just the ending of that book too. I want to, yeah. Where's the heartbreaking thing? Where is the heartbreaking tab at? How dare you? Me yelling at the book, how dare you? No, I love Az. I love him. Nesta swayed, but Azrael was there catching her, bringing her to his chest, scarred hand stroking her hair. Thank the mother, he breathed. Thank the mother. I love their friendship and relationship. Oh, I love Nesta. She just got up and was like, keep walking. Of course. Bryce apologizes. She's like, I'm so sorry. And then they're like, which is also so funny, like bringing in her like personality into like the ACOTAR world, because she's like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, yeah. You literally tried to murder us. And they're like, well, might as well figure out what it is, you know, that your starlight is wanting you to find. And she's like, wait, like this was your guys' plan the entire time? And then they're like, yeah, Reese knew you were going to go down the grate. Like, of course he did. Bryce says, why do this? Why do you care? Nesta said, because I've seen that star on your chest before. Yeah, you said that. Bryce said, your tattoo, not my tattoo. Then where? Bryce breathed. If she could get answers. But Nesta strode ahead again to the darkness. No place good. Hey, I'm confused. I knew she was going to have him go up against Ariadne. I literally knew it. And then also, we're kind of having this funny moment where Nesta, Azrael, and Bryce are kind of like all getting along right now. And Nesta, like Bryce tells him about like the bone quarter and like what happens when you die and like how she isn't going to rest anywhere. And they are like super sad. So then Nesta gives her back her phone. She's like, here. And then she shows them the picture of Hunt. She's like, this is my mate. And Azrael's like, he has wings. And she's like, he's an angel. And and then Nesta's like, can you explain what this does? It's been driving us all crazy trying to figure it out. Like this is like the lighthearted stuff that you need between the heavy stuff in this book, really. She is trying to now explain to them what a phone is. So a phone, Nesta said, overpronouncing the word. So a phone can take these photographs that capture a moment in time, but not the people in it. Phones have cameras, and the camera is the thing that, yeah, it's like an instant drawing of the moment. It also holds music. This is so funny. Literally, if Cassian gets his hands on a gun, because Nesta's asking her about guns, can you imagine Cassian going into Crescent City and just having cars and guns? Okay, she just opened a door. Wow, exhilarating. We call it the prison. Okay. Ethan has to fight Sigrid, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm literally stressing because I think Baxian, Rune, and Hunt are trying to find out a way to leave. Meanwhile, Lydia is putting her neck out on the line with everybody else to get them. Connor's having to fight this part right here, Baxian just bit off Rune's hand. We have a sweet moment. Basically, Rune tells Hunt to do it, and Hunt is already living with all of this guilt. Like, everything that's happened to him in his life, he's already living through this guilt. Baxian is like, I'll do it. Like, my teeth are sharper. And he says, I've got sharper teeth. Let me shoulder this burden. You can get the next one. And then Hunt says, you are a worthy mate to Danica. Pain and love flooded Baxian's eyes. Perhaps the words had touched on a wound, a doubt that had long plagued him. I love Baxian. He's so kind. Oh my god. No. I'm surprised you didn't hear it. Erglis and the others were able to fix the harpy. Oh my god, what's gonna happen to Lydia? Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait, because like one of the carvings when they were walking through, there was this like beautiful woman carved. And Bryce was like, oh, that's like, I think Silene? So oh my god, these fantasy names, I need the audiobook on hand so I can understand what the pronunciation is. But they had seen it, whatever. They're in this cave. She's standing where the harp used to be, where the 8-point star that is on her chest is. So she goes and steps on light. And this woman who is, I'm gonna say, is it Silene or is it, I don't know. I don't know. But it says, from the carving, Nesta asked. As Bryce glanced to her, the warrior stepped through the wards as if they were nothing, like she could have done so all along. Azriel didn't try to stop her, but remained standing inside the tunnel mouth. At the beginning of the tunnels, there was a carving of a young female. You said her name was Silene. The carving's an exact likeness, Bryce said, nodding. But who is she? Azriel said softly, voice tinged with pain. She looks like Rizian's sister. So, what do we do with this information? Hey, so what do I do with this information? That's actually the Asteri. So they called them the Daglin, and basically the Fae were slaves to the Daglin for 5,000 years. And so the High Fae knelt before them, and then they would like give tithes of their power to them, as you know, the Asteri feed on people's power. Like that's the whole entire thing that we learn. It says the Daglin became arrogant as the millennia passed, sure of their unending dominion over our world. Their overconfidence eventually blinded them to the enemies amassing at their backs, a force like none that had been gathered before. My mother served at that monster's side for a century, a slave to her every sick whim. Bryce knew who it was before she spoke again, knew whose truth she'd been led here across the stars to learn at last. Thea. Hey, what does this mean? That everything is going to right now. Everything's gonna be timed out where it's like the harpy is gonna wake up or be remade right when like Lydia's supposed to get them out of the thing. Hunt and Rune are probably gonna be getting out of the thing as she's trying to get them out. And the horn is one of the made objects. So the horn, they took the horn from this world into their world. The cauldron, oh my god. Everything is coming together. Everything. Hi, so I am now on chapter 22. And essentially, I think for like 20 pages, we just info dumped. Yeah, that was kind of rough to read. We basically info dumped about the lineage of Thea and Celine, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Also, I think Connor, oh my god, no, he's long gone. Ethan, I think Ethan low-key killed that wolf. I think so. I think she's dead. I think she's gone. I don't know. I'm actually not too sure because every time that they kill somebody, they regenerate. They have like endless lives until they really want to die and then they're dead. I don't understand. I truly don't understand sometimes. Okay, basically everything that they knew was not true because Thea is not this like wonderful person. She's actually just terrible, and they like basically came and wiped out all the humans and did heinous things, and the Asteri got one over on them, all of this stuff, right? And so then Thea's daughter went back to like the world of Prithian and Valeris, and she spun lies and made everybody forget about it. And she said this that I thought was interesting, so I was like, Amren? After another hunted monsters, the remaining pets of the Daglin, until many of the lowest rooms are filled with them, like in the prison. And you know how like Amren is super old and she was in the prison, so I'm like, okay, so was she one of the Daglin's pets? Anyway, we just info dumped for like pages upon pages. Hi, it's me, confused again. First and foremost, my back hurts. I just thought everyone really wanted to know that. It's giving me Iron Flame flashbacks to where I was pissed off at Violet for basically the entirety of the book. And Bryce is pissing me off. She literally, Azriel and Nesta are like, stop. She finds the power. Now she has like this new power that's like kind of like actual Fae magic and not just the starlight, right? And Azriel and Nesta are like, no, let's just take you to Reese. Like, let's just try to figure this out. Like, figure out how to save both of our worlds, because they don't want her to open the portal because obviously the Asteri are wanting to go back to this world. They're wanting to go back to like Prithian and Valeris and all of that. And so they're like, we don't want this to happen. Like, let's just go to Reese. Let's try to figure this out. Bryce is not hearing any of it, and she decides to basically start like fighting Nesta and Azriel. And then she opens a cell, and there is a ancient creature in a crystal coffin, and it's one of the Asteri. Bryce. Also, Lydia, I don't know what she's up to, but I knew this is what, I kind of thought this was what she was doing, because when she asked the 3 fire sprites about the queen fire sprite that they have, she was like, is she honorable? And they were like, yeah. And now she's using her to help them escape. Oh my god, wait, Ethan really did kill that wolf. Okay, what was the point of any of that then? Oh my god, the fire sprites burned down the meat market. She just let the Asteri out of the tomb. Alright, I am so annoyed now. I just read part 2. Ethan didn't get on the boat. He was like, I gotta go back gotta fix some things. What are you fixing, sweetie? Anyway, Bryce, yet again, pissing me off. She looks at Azriel and Nesta and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to my world now. And Azriel's like, please come back with us. Like, you, like, they will get this information out of you about our world. Like, please, we need to, like, try to figure something out of how to do this. And instead of, you know, like, getting information, I mean, Bryce just continues to, like, backstab. And I know people would be like, well, she doesn't owe them anything because she doesn't know. This is the most annoying, like, one of the most annoying things that I've ever read before in my life. And then Nesta said, you're as much of a monster as they are. Bryce knew. She'd always known. Love will do that to you. No, Bryce, you're actually so annoying. Things are literally getting insane. Also, Ethan went to the House of Flame and Shadow to go see Jessica so that he can try to resurrect the wolf that he accidentally killed. Just thought you guys should know. But anyway, the way this ends off, Hunt told the hawk, F you. And then Lydia goes, I couldn't have said it better myself, Athalar. Hunt looked fast, but not fast enough. The hawk certainly didn't look fast enough, and Hunt knew he'd treasure this moment forever. The moment when Lydia pulled out her gun and fired it right between the hawk's eyes. Driving in a Jeep. Yeah, Lydia punched the Jeep. I'm just picturing them in a Jeep Wrangler. A voice crackled over the radio. Declan Emmett's voice. Daybright, you read. Hot tears began to streak down Rune's face. She's doing everything in her power to save them. Rune, don't you be mean. Rune, what the hell? I'll tell you this. Lydia is literally risking her life right now because they were like, oh my gosh, Lydia, like, Mordok is on your tail. And so she drives the car and she tells Hunt and Baxian to, like, hold Rune and fly to the ship and that they care more about her. So just leave without her. And then she shifts in her deer form and she, like, nuzzles Rune's neck and he says nothing. Someone play Say Don't Go. I said I love you, you say nothing back. Why'd you have to lead me on? Why'd you have to twist the knife? Walk away and leave me bleeding. Not Rune, quite literally screaming because he realizes, it goes to his point of view and he realizes that Lydia isn't coming with them. And she is running from the Dreadwolves, and he realizes that she's just going to jump off the side of the mountain into the water. And there was nothing waiting for Lydia but a straight lethal plunge to the water hundreds of feet below. Then it goes to Hunt's point of view. Hunt blocked out Rune's screams and cursing. Oh my god. This is literally insane. The first thing Rune says is, Lydia, you have to help her. The ship can't get any closer to the shore, Therian said. Not this ship. You. He said, no, you. You're my man. I don't know what's gonna happen, y'all. Why'd you have to lead me on? Why'd you have to twist the knife? I don't believe that she's dead, but that's still crazy. She jumped off the cliff and they shot her at the same time. OMG. I can't. We're not even halfway through the book. I'm literally 320 pages in. Hey, still have this much of the book left. Hey, what the? Lydia just woke up and Rune is looking at her. And of course Rune is doing his little like, oh, how can I hate her but love her so much? Like, I don't know what to do. Lydia wakes up and she's like, where am I? And he's like, well, you're on the ship. Like, what do you mean? She jolts out of bed, starts running and sobbing. And then she's looking at the door and Rune sees these two children. And he's like, oh, you have brothers? Flynn says you have brothers on the ship? They're not my brothers. They're my sons. What? Hey, what? Hey, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I don't think we talk, even though Bryce is pissing me off, I have to give this to her. We don't talk about enough how much of a mastermind that Bryce is, because she literally goes up to the Autumn King and puts the shackles on him and is like, do you think that I teleported here on accident, you idiot? No, I knew that you held the knowledge of the swords. When she teleported to the Autumn King, I too did think that she did it on accident. I too assumed that she did not know what she was doing. But she does this all the time. I feel like she always knows what she's doing, majority of the time. Okay, she ate with this entrance. Because the Ocean Queen is basically telling Therian, like, listen, the Viper Queen wants you dead. The River Queen Also, once you're dead. So why shouldn't I hand you over? The River Queen and the Viper Queen only want you. I would like one good reason why I shouldn't hand you over. Let them squabble over your carcass. You hand him over, a female voice drawled from the open doorway, and you'll have a third queen pissed at you. Therion's stomach bottomed out. Bryce Quinlan swept through the doorway and winked at the Ocean Queen. Therion serves me. Iconic behavior. Love that we're all together. Okay, so where do we go from here? Aw, he's sobbing. When he sobs because he sees you. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Lydia is my favorite character. I love Rune. Lydia is my favorite. You wanna know why? Because she's going through so much. She's trying to go see her kids, and her kids really want nothing to do with her. And basically, she kind of hasn't revealed everything yet, but revealed that they're 15, so she's had to do a lot of what she's like known for. Because of them, she's been kind of used as this weapon to kind of keep them safe, I'm assuming. Rune runs into her, and Rune is like, hey, how are you doing? Like, all of a sudden, Rune's fine with her, right? And Lydia's upset because Lydia tried to talk to him mind to mind, like when he was in the dungeon. And granted, I mean, Rune wasn't really in the position to be sitting there just chit-chatting, you know? But at the same time, Lydia was trying to tell him, like, let me explain this to you. He said, I don't want to hear your sob story. You're dead to me. So when he runs into Lydia in the hallway, she says, what difference does it make? I thought you didn't wish to hear my sob story as you put it. Look, he said tightly, you can't expect me to learn who you are, what you are, and be immediately cool with it, okay? I'm still processing all this. What is there to process? I am who I am, and I've done what I've done. The fact that I have children doesn't erase that. It's almost like you want me to resent you. I wanted you to listen, she snapped, but you wouldn't. Yet now that I fit some sort of acceptably sad female backstory, you're willing to hear me out. And call him out. Because Rune, what are you doing? Rune, why are you behaving this way? You're embarrassing me. And then he tries to make a joke. Most dudes run when they find out the female they're into has kids. Rune, I know your hand just grew back, so I'm going to give you a little bit of leniency. Rune, let's not do that. Hi, I just wasn't even recording. I wasn't even recording just then. Anyway, I've moved on to my iPad. I'm lazy. That's what it comes down to. How far am I into the book? 55. Why is this book taking me forever to get through? I don't understand. I genuinely don't get it. What has went on since the last time? They are where Cormac used to live. His Cormac's dead, so he doesn't live there anymore. They're there with like his dad and is it his cousin? The evil twin brothers? Anyway, all of a sudden Flynn's sister and their parents are there. So then Flynn's sister and Therion get married. When I tell you guys, I kind of feel like this book is a fever dream. I don't even know. Like, I have zero thoughts about this book except that I don't know. That's my only thought. If you were to ask me, hey Destiny, I don't know. Don't ask. I'm tired. Definitely not gonna like stay up because it's not even like interesting enough to make me want to stay up and read it. Like, I'm literally like, I want to go to bed. I'm gonna read this until I fall asleep. But that's what's going on right now. Don't worry, I'll be a professional. Literally, don't you guys worry, I'll be a professional. Hello everybody. It's the next morning. I'm just kidding, I didn't finish it. I am literally at the exact 70% mark through the book right now. I'm on chapter 64. Last night did I tell you guys that I bought a copy on the Kindle? And I was reading it on the Kindle, and then I brought my Kindle to the gym today and I was reading it on the treadmill, and then I also got the audiobook on Audible. So I've also been listening to the audiobook because I'm pretty sure these are like Audible exclusives. So I've been listening to it on Audible. I'm now on chapter 64. I'm trying to remember where I left off last night. They had like just got to the cave, and the cave was an exact replica of the one that was in Valeris. Prithian, that world. So, to talk about what happened. Lydia and Rune made up. Thank God, I was tired of that groveling between them, you know. Rune, use some critical thinking, please. They find like the same type of like thing that was in the cave when Bryce was with Nesta and Azriel, and she like notices the star, and this star has like kind of 2 points at the top that like are different. Anyway, they use black salt to basically talk telepathically, like in their minds they're in hell, but their body is still like in the cave. And so they talk to Adis, Apollon, and the other one that's like a T. I'm forgetting the name, but they're all princes of hell, right? And so we finally answered the question of who Hunt's father was. Now, it's not like he finds out who his real father was, but his real father was just kind of like a surrogacy in a way. So basically, the two princes of hell, Apollon and the one with the T, they constructed and basically made Hunt for Bryce, because Elena knew that there was going to be a lineage come from her power, and if all in all didn't work, she would need something to like light up the power, so they made Hunt for Bryce, basically. So Hunt finds out he's made by the Princess of Hell, but he had an actual mom and dad, and then his dad was killed because the Asteri found out that his dad was speaking to the Princess of Hell, but his dad never told them about like what was going on, and that's why the Asteri basically think that they like bred Hunt to be this amazing thing, but the Asteri didn't make them at all. So you learn that, and then basically how Bryce got like some more power when she was with Nesta and Azriel in the cave. She basically, when Thea split off her power and gave her daughter some, gave her other daughter some, and then put the other power into the Star Sword, Bryce got like that other power, another third of the power. So Bryce needs the last third of the power. She needs to find the last third of the power. So they learn all of this, that she needs to do this to open the Northern Rift and open the portal to nowhere, so that they can put the Asteri in this nowhere portal world. That way they can just trap just the Asteri in the nowhere world, but they also need to open the Northern Rift so that the armies that Hell has gotten can help them. Literally, I don't know. I'm literally working out listening to this, and I'm like, I'm trying to like juggle all this information. So you learn all of that, and then Bryce and Hunt come back to the cave. Not before Adis does the parting words, because Adis and Thea were they were in love, right? And Bryce basically looks at Adis and is like, you know, oh, and we answer the riddle, what blinds an oracle? And it's Thea's power, Thea's star, whatever. And Adis said like he saw right then and there like what he knew what Bryce was going to be. But Adis tells Bryce that if it becomes too much to like with the Star Sword and the Truth Teller to open up the portals to choose life, because he has been living knowing what losing somebody's like, and to just choose life instead. Okay, why did I almost start crying while I was driving? They come back and it's an absolute disaster, because we have the murder twins. Is that what they call them? The murder twins. Autumn King is now here after he somehow got out of the closet that Bryce trapped him in, and he came here with Morven, whatever the frick his name is. Doesn't matter. You want to know why? In a long-winded way, Rune kills the Autumn King and Bryce kills the other one. Rune murders their father. Lydia and Rune, they come to save all of them. You know, like Declan and Flynn had gotten kidnapped, and then, you know, there's a bunch of fighting logistics going on. Rune kills Autumn King, and then basically Bryce kills the other guy. And then, because they had been talking about these islands, and the mist that surrounds the island is like a whole entire thing as well. They were talking about like how there used to be a bunch of islands, and now there's just one. And basically, to unlock the last of the power, like that Elena had put in, when she put in the power of the ley lines, this is making no sense. I'm the worst person to explain this. I'm just explaining it as it's going through my brain. But you guys have read the book. Like, you guys know. I'm just catching you guys up on what I've read. And so with the ley lines, it forced like all of the other islands to just kind of like disappear. And so Bryce takes the sword and the knife and unlocks like a key, the star, and it makes all of the other islands like rise back up. You see like it's sprouting all this greenery and lush, and they basically are getting like a look at what life was like before the Asteri ruled. Very emotional moment. And also before this happens, I think it's before, or is it after? Basically, Rune finally, while he's killing the Autumn King, this is important too, he looks at the Autumn King and he says that he's always lied about what the Oracle told him, that he said that the line was going to end with him. And he says, I always thought that meant like I was gonna die. And he goes, but now I know the barbaric, tendencies of the male Starborn line ends with me, because I am handing over my lineage to the queen. Like, I'm giving it all to Bryce. Like, she is going to be the ruler. Then basically after they kill both of them, everybody establishes that Bryce is now the queen of the Balbaran Fae, or the Midgardian Fae. I don't know. And listen, can I be honest with you guys? Because now we're caught up. I am now on chapter 64. And, they're in a Valen. Can I tell you guys that Bryce has pissed me off to no end in this book? Like, she has she's not ceasing to both amaze me and annoy me. Two of the A's, okay? And both of them mean opposite things. But I can't be amazed and annoyed at the same time. I do think that sometimes people discount or don't, you know what, like, we talk about other characters in the ACOTAR series and how, like, powerful mastermindish they are. Like, Bryce all throughout the series has been very mastermind, very like 5 steps ahead. Like, she is, like, everyone looks at Bryce like she's this kind of like surface level character, like, yeah, she's just kind of this wild, you know, smart mouth, whatever. She's always 5 steps ahead. She like always knows what she's going to do in a plan. Like, she is like light on her feet. She knows what she's going to do. Like, very rarely is Bryce in a situation where she's like, I do not know what to do. And it's impressive, and I'm constantly amazed. But then she turns around and annoys me to no end. One of the things that happened was that Hunt is living with this guilt because he has done so many things in his lifetime. The things with Shahar, you know, like all of that stuff, and then him being literally tortured for years. And then he just keeps blaming himself that he like knew where they were going to end up. He's been here before. You know, like, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. So he blames himself for not trying harder to steer Bryce out of this direction because it's caused just hurt in every single form. He's blaming himself, he's living with a lot of guilt, but he's still following along with Bryce, but it's kind of not like at 100% because he has all of this guilt, like why they're even here in the first place. Basically, Bryce goes off on him and then calls him like the Uber Mortis. Is it Uber? Under Mortis, which we know that he doesn't like because he's no longer like that. He doesn't like being called that. And she kind of like throws shots at him that are very like low blows. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much like that was a low blow. She's basically yelling at him and is like, that's not enough for me. Like, for you to just like be following me but like not 100% want to. Like, you need to stop living with this guilt. Babe, he's like 3 days. That's over exaggeration. Maybe a week though. Like, honestly, maybe a week out of literal encapturement and torture. You're like, you need to let that go because I'm on a mission. Like, granted, Bryce, I'm gonna be so real with you, babe. Like, she came back and she was telling everybody like what happened in Valeris. You were not punished at all. They were actually being super nice. Like, they were literally trying to like figure stuff out with her. You betrayed them, took Azriel's knife. I don't know what's going to happen with that because even if you've read the ACOTAR books, Azriel's always like truth teller. Everyone's like, he doesn't get rid of it. Like, it stays with him. I'm in shambles over that. Every time they bring up the truth teller, I am always like, what is Azriel doing? We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, this whole thing is traumatic for her 100% because, you know, like, she went to this different world, but like, she talks about being in these dungeons and stuff, but 1, you were meant to go do that, and 2, you were not harmed. And literally anyway, they did not harm you. They were actually very nice to you. And Nesta and you like were having heart-to-hearts and stuff, and you're gonna come back and be like, yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. They say that Night Court dude, please, for the love of all things good, put some respect on his name. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from that. Anyway, all of that to say that Bryce has been severely annoying me. Also, I don't know how I feel about this book. I feel like I can't really gain a feeling on it until I'm completely finished with it. I don't know. It just has felt like a lot of information dumping to me. Like, not a whole lot is actually happening. Just now, we're kind of starting to get into stuff that's like actually going on and happening. I feel like this whole entire book has been like just information. What I'm kind of feeling like is that, I don't know, are we gonna end up beating the Asteria at the end of this book? I literally do not know. Maybe we will beat the Asteria at the end of the book, and then the next and final book is gonna be like them rebuilding everything and like going against that, or maybe it opens like a rift in the world and now they have to like fix everything. I don't want to say disappointed, but I don't get that bringing in the ACOTAR world and the ACOTAR characters, it has to be something more. We really only got Nesta and Azriel like helping her. And also, it doesn't make any sense because they talk about truth teller, and truth teller only works for somebody who is like meant for the swords. So what is Az? You know what I mean? Like, what, like, when they were explaining that, when they were talking to Aiden, and he was talking about like, yeah, truth teller and the star sword, I'm like, okay, but Azriel was like, whatever, the truth teller. What does that mean for Azriel? Like, what lineage does he have? Because Azriel's still kind of a question mark to everybody. Like, we kind of know the base information on him. We don't know a whole lot. I'm confused on that. But also just like bringing in the ACOTAR world, like, obviously it is the first land of the Fae. And that has to be more of a thing than it is right now. Also, something that's been annoying me about Bryce is she continuously keeps on talking about how much she hates the Fae. right? She hates the Fae. I get it. You hate because your dad is a piece of crap. You've had a lot of, like, you know, the Fae men are very disgusting for very much the most part. But look at your brother. Look at Flynn and Declan and like all of the other Fae. Then you go and meet Nesta and Azriel, who again, do I have to say this again, did nothing to you even after you literally almost got them killed. They did nothing to you. Really, we're kind of like no hard feelings here. And then when they just asked you to go talk to Reese, who has more knowledge than they do, leave a mess, honestly, for them to clean up. Hey, I'm annoyed. You know what I mean? I don't know if I finished the thought I was having before. Like that thought that I had that brought me there is completely gone. I don't know what the last 30% of this book is going to hold. I really don't. I am annoyed that I have now read it on multiple different forms. So now like there's annotations at the beginning, there's no annotations right here. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook because I'm about to go downstairs and make breakfast, and then I'll probably end up like keep on reading the physical book. So it's going to annoy me to look at this and then only see tabs right here and then maybe like right here. Also, Ethan's storyline, I forgot to talk about it. He is now in House of Flame and Shadow and he's helping Jessica, and then we learned information about Jessica, and it really opened my eyes to Jessica as a character. How, I think, did she say, is it Peleus? Like kind of put this dark magic on her. I forget. Oh my god, there's so much going on in this book. And she's just a lover and protector of the books. And like the whole entire thing is that I think is it Peleus or is it one of the other princes of hell? Or it may be the other one. Apollyon? It may be him. Will send like Adis, is it Adis that he sent, to make sure that like there's nothing in the books, but she's just literally protecting the books because she thinks that the books are so important. Oh, and Hypaxia got overthrown by that witch that she was asking like protection from in the last book, so she's no longer, you know, like queen of the like witch lineage, and now she is sworn to House of Flame and Shadow, and they're trying to now resurrect Sophie so that they can help the wolf. Because I've been listening to the audiobooks and now I know kind of how to pronounce this. Did I just pronounce that wrong though? I don't know. Because now Cedrid's a reaper. Who is it that resurrected her? The bone carver? No, oh my god, there's so much going on in this book at one time. Basically, they're trying to do that so that the lightning can hit Cedrid and then she's no longer a reaper. I don't know. Oh, also, the Princess of Hell made the Thunderbirds, but the Asteri found out like what that was, and that's why the Thunderbirds went extinct, but they didn't know that Hunt was made of the Princess of Hell, and that's the only reason why he survived. Did I say that? Okay, covering all the bases, I'm going to continue to read the book. I was literally like, hopefully nothing of like really big essence happens. I mean, there has been like things, but you know, like jaw dropping, like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, because I was like, I'm like not picking up my camera and taking it to the gym with me, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna go put on my headphones and listen to some more of the audiobook while I make breakfast and eat. Hi. I'm eating breakfast. I have something in my mouth. My mouth is burning from hot sauce. Just a few little updates. Nothing really has happened. They're just strategizing now. They're strategizing their strategy. Yeah, hey, we got that from the first word. But there was a moment where like Hunt and Bryce are talking. I hate the way my voice sounds right now. Hunt and Bryce are talking and Hunt's like, those people from the other world, like they wouldn't, like they should come help. Like let's go get them to help us. And Bryce was like, no, I can't do that. So you draw a line somewhere. You won't bring them back. Anywho, so now we're just like, Rune and Lydia are going somewhere, Flynn and Declan are going somewhere, Hunt and Bryce are going somewhere. We're all going back in different directions right when we met back up, because Ethan and Hypaxia showed up on the island to try to get Sophie's body. Bryce said what I was thinking and looked at Ethan and was like, time and place, like we'll figure that out after this, because that girl is not helping the cause, Ethan. Okay? Like that girl, your guilt that you're carrying right now, that girl's not helping the cause. Having another Fendir heir would be good and all, but like I am trying not to die. So you're gonna do what I tell you to do, and then we'll figure that out after. And honestly, she was my inner thoughts and Ethan's point of view this whole entire book, where I'm like, Ethan, this like time and place, babe. Time and place. That's what's going on right now. I am on chapter 67 of the book. So I'm going to listen to this as I finish my yogurt, and then I'm going to go back to the physical copy. Let me find where I'm at in the book, because I'm done with the audiobook. I'm on chapter 73. Not too sure how much into the book, but we have about this much of it left. So here's what's happened after the last update. Not a whole lot. We have some like just heartwarming moments. Like not a whole lot has been happening. The harpy just showed up, but Ethan is in some hot trouble as always. I feel like this man does not ever stop doing the most inconsequential but then turns into a huge thing side quests I have ever seen in my life. This man is just, he's like stumbling upon important information. Hypaxia came up with the cure for the, oh yeah, did I tell you guys? It lives in the water, and that's why they have to do the drop, because they put like a parasite in the water, the Asteri did. So to go against the Asteri, Hypaxia needed to come up with a cure for it, even if it's just shorthanded. She did, miraculously. And she tests it on Ethan, and all of a sudden Ethan has this like elemental power. So then he is like, I'm going to the wolves to show the wolves, because I need the wolves on my side to go into this, right? This is kind of feeling like Twilight Breaking Dawn, you know, like even the Asteri remind me of the what are they called in Twilight, the like higher up vampires, what are they called? I feel like it's literally like very similar to the Asteri. The Volturi, the Asteri, the Volturi, that is literally, okay, anyway, the Volturi and the Asteri, that's what I picture in my brain. When I am imagining the Asteri, I'm picturing the Volturi going to the wolves, and then he is talking to them, and Sigrid shows up. Sigrid, oh my god, why can I not remember? I was literally just listening to the audiobook. Sabine, and he's trying to show them, like, look at the power, like, you guys need to come help me, like, we need to have this pack, like, you guys are gonna be on my back, like, we're gonna go do this thing. And then, of course, now Sabine has shown up, and she's like, why is he still alive? Why are you still alive? That's the question I've been asking myself this entire freaking time. Why are you still breathing? This is literally so hilarious that I would, like, that's so funny. Prime just mic dropped everybody, because I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I started sweating for a second, because Sabine has the astronomer, and Sigrid, whatever the frick her name is there, and she's trying to spin this to them like, yeah, Ethan, look, Ethan killed her, like, blah, blah, blah. But then the Prime shows up, and the Prime, who is, you know, the most important wolf, tells everybody, no, I told you it. This has been a thing since the first war. And I believe that Danica was killed because she figured this out. I heard what Connor said. It's all true. He says, Ethan Holstrom is my heir and no one else. Sabine had gone white as death. Father, the Prime leveled a cold look at his daughter. For too long, I've left you unchecked. I've kept our people, this city safe. You are hereby stripped of your title, your rank, and your authority. And he gave it to Ethan, because Ethan doesn't need to go seek out a Fenrir heir. He can be it. He can be the alpha. He has all of it in here. I just love him, even though sometimes his storyline is a little boring, you know. I knew this was gonna happen as soon as the Prime denounced Sabine. She killed her dad in front of everybody. Like, I feel like that denounces you even more, that everybody just witnessed you kill the Prime. And then Sabine is trying to kill Ethan, and Ethan goes and breaks the Fenrir sword between his teeth. Kill her, kill her, kill her. Oh, it's just a piece of steel. All those years you obsessed over it, resented Danica for having it. It's just a piece of metal. Why is that low-key like a cold line? Well, Ethan did in fact just kill her, and is like wanting to rip her to shreds. Oh, he's now the Prime. Ah, make your brother proud. Why is this the thing that's gonna make me emotional? He says, make your brother proud, and as his howl finished echoing, he could have sworn he heard a male wolf's cry float up from the bone quarter itself. It is so sad. It's so meant to be. No one else is more deserving. I love this so much. So deserved. Wait. Wait. What? I thought we were opening the portrait. I can't even talk. Hunt ignored her and sent another spike of power into his mate. Bryce's hair floated up, snow and ice drifting with it, but she maintained an eerie calm until the void filled the entirety of the massive gate. Hunt cut off his lightning, running to where Bryce stood before the wall of darkness. Darkness flecked by starlight. A female with golden brown hair sat in an armchair before a fireplace on the other side of it. All that darkness was a starry night beyond her windows, and her face was a portrait of pure shock as Bryce lifted a hand in greeting and said, "Hello, Nesta." What is she doing? And can you also imagine Nesta? She's literally in front of the fireplace, like this would be me right now. That would be like me sitting here, and then a portal just opens and you're just like, and knowing Nesta, she just has like a romance, like, just, that is hilarious. I knew that wasn't the end of the like characters being in Crescent City. Like, I was like, there's too much being said. Like, I can't. Do you think that Therian and Flynn's sister are actually gonna like have a romance? Because like how they're married. Did I tell you guys that they're married? Flynn's sister? But they seem to have some chemistry. Like I've never seen Therian actually have chemistry with people. Wow, you know what? She's good. She's really talking to the River Queen right now. So Bryce stole the dagger and now she's telling Nesta to give her the mask. I guess it is of their world. I don't know. And Nesta's like, close this portal in my living room. Why is this here? Oh my gosh. She said no. Nesta's eyes held no mercy. Now shut the portal and be gone before the High Lord gets here and rips you to shreds. I promise I'll return the mask and truth teller after I've done what I needed to do here. She literally said, here are my parents. Like, she's bringing her parents to Valeris as like collateral to be like, here, so I'll tell you that I'll come back and return the mask. If you die, then my parents will be safer stuck in your world than in mine. If you won't give me the mask, then take them anyway. Take my parents. They have no idea why they're here or who you are or what your world is. They think I'm talking to someone in hell, but take them and keep them safe. I ask only that. You would leave them in my world and possibly never see them again. Yes. She said, I need Hunt to help me against the hysteria, but my parents are human. They're the best people. Okay, sobbing. Why is that so sad? And I think, you know what? I think it's amazing that Nesta is the one that, because like we knew throughout the Actor series, like she's not the most emotionally available one. And so for her to have to do the bargaining with Nesta. Nesta extended her hand towards Bryce, something golden. The mask. For whatever good it can do, it's yours to borrow. Oh God, the harpies here. The River Queen's daughter is sobbing again. Therian, what? Now he's telling the River Queen's daughter that he'll divorce Flynn's sister and marry her. Therian makes the worst decisions imaginable. You got out of the mess and now you're trying to get back in it. The River Queen said she'll help because she's always wanted to take down the Asteri and that she sees who Therian is and she's like, I wish you would have shown that down here and like I would have seen that. Like I see who you are. Okay, Bryce just wielded the mask and now Celestina is there with Isaiah and Naomi and Flynn and Lydia are looking for Isaiah and Naomi. Things are just a mess. Right when I turn the camera off, we find out that Pollux has found out about Lydia's sons and has taken them. Now we're gonna have to face off against Pollux, and I honestly, listen, I love Rune. I love him. I don't know if he's making it through that. Pollux is literally a psychopath. Who's gonna kill him? Not Rune. I just don't think so. After she just got done talking about her sons. They were just talking about them. Yeah, shut up, Celestina. She's like, I regret it. Literally, hey, shut up. Literally, okay, Celestina's making me so mad. Isaiah's like, I understand there's bad blood. Hunt's like, I was tortured in a dungeon and now I have this tattoo on my forehead again because of her. And Celestina's like, I've suffered. Hypaxia broke up with me. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you endlessly tortured in a dungeon by Pollux? Oh, I'm sorry. Was your girlfriend breaking up with you? Oh my gosh. Hunt just took the tattoos off of Isaiah and Naomi's brows. When he went down to hell, the princes of hell were like, no one from here can, like, that doesn't work on us. Like, you can take it off yourself. And so he literally is like taking them off of Isaiah and Naomi. Why am I... Connor went back because he was like, I want to talk to my brother. And they went, him and Hypaxia went to go see the Under King. And they're talking to the Under King and he says, go speak to your brother, boy. You have 7 minutes. Ethan's mouth's dried out, but where? The Under King pointed to the exit behind them there. Ethan turned and there was Connor, as vibrant as he'd ever been in life. We knew Connor for like a few pages at most, and he is... Why are we bringing back all these dead people, not bringing back Danica and Connor? Ethan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Me either. Obviously, but I do know. Look at me. I'm in shambles. Connor appeared exactly as he had the day Ethan had last seen him. I'm sorry I wasn't there. That is literally heartbreaking, and Connor can't speak to him, so Connor's just shaking his head. He told Connor about being the Prime, and his brother laid a hand on his heart and bowed his head, a mark of respect to the Prime. screaming, crying, throwing up, all of it. They just killed the Under King. What? Connor froze him with his ice powers and they just killed the Under King because he said no more sailings, I'm not doing it. Wait, what does this mean for Bryce's soul? Because if there's no more Under King and the deal she made with him, oh my god, this is just all too much. Now Hypaxia is head of House in Flame and Shadow. They're getting rid of the souls, letting the souls go. Oh my god. Now Connor can talk. I'm gonna sob my eyes out because Hypaxia is the head of the house, so now she can make him speak. That bullet was made by us, the dead, for Bryce. But if you turn into Second Light, I'm already gone, Ethan. And I can think of no better way to end my existence than by striking a blow for all our ancestors. Connor said to Ethan, you do make me proud, you know, every day before now and every day after. Nothing you do will ever change that. Tell Bryce. No. Tell Bryce, Connor said, to make the shot count. Connor stepped in the archway and faded into the wall of light. He was gone, and this time it was unbearable. But, you know, I really like, though, that in the first book we got the moment with Danica and Bryce. Because that was super important, I feel, for Bryce to step up to, like, her role and everything. And now that Ethan is, like, a big part of everything, I feel like he needed to talk with Connor. But I just love Connor. Like, I love Connor. Oh my god. That is literally the most heart-wrenching thing. Jesus Christ, now we're in Therian's point of view, and the Viper Queen is there. Who's calling? Hypaxia and Ethan are there to save the day. Oh, and now Therian knows that Hypaxia is the head of House of Flame and Shadow and Ethan's the Prime. Both Hypaxia and Ethan, like, love Therian so much and everything that they've both done for Therian. You know, like, Therian really isn't my favorite character, but I do love how much other people care about it. Oh my god, this is giving me, like, in the Hunger Games when Katniss is, like, putting her message to the Capitol, her and Hunt are showing everybody the video of her killing Micah to show them that, like, the higher-ups aren't as powerful as you think, because it's going to distract the Asteri, because how the Asteri at the end of the first book were like, anything so that, you know, no one finds out that you killed Micah, because they know that that would start getting people's, like, wheels turning in their brain. So they're doing that as a distraction so they can go in and kill the Asteri. Sarah J. Maas really knows when to just put in an inappropriate scene at an inappropriate time. Wow, this is going on for such a long time. I'm just skipping through the pages. See, I think that Therian and Sathya will be, like, romantic together, because, like, everybody, like, there are little hints of stuff together. Oh my god. Literally, I look like I'm on drugs. Oh my god, Sathya went to the freaking Viper Queen. Why are you making this hard? She went to go save her, because Colin is with the Viper Queen. That's her ex-boyfriend. And she left a note to Therian saying that she couldn't leave Colin there now that she knew that that's where he was at. And Therian was like, even though, like, he's just like, I can't stop thinking about her. Literally, this is another ill... Okay. Oh god, this is the last one. I'm like in the last 100 pages. As we all know, if you're a seasoned professional in this, last 100 pages of a Sarah J. Maas book are crazy, literally insane. Also, I'm gonna finish this book in less than 24 hours because I only got like 10 pages in when I started it on the 30th, and yesterday I started this book at like 1 o'clock. It was like near 1 o'clock, and it's 10:20 right now, and I have less than 100 pages of this book left. I told you I could finish it in less than 24 hours. I wonder if Perry and Ethan will be a couple. Me just wondering about, we're in like the last 100 pages and I'm worried about who's gonna be a couple. Rune just told Lydia that he loves her. No, this does not mean anything good. We can't do love proclamations right before the big mission. This is if I don't get the chance to tell you later, I love you. He didn't wait for a response. No, no. Why is he going to get his Uber Mortis helmet? Oh my god, this is like... Oh, no. 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 Rune is going in for Lydia because Pollux has her kids under the whatever, and he knows that Lydia can't go. Rune rasped, I can't let yourself get killed. I will never forgive you for this. Never. I know, Rune said and fired. One shot right to her thigh. No. Oh my god. Like, this is... They knew. The Asteri knew what they were doing, knew that she opened the rift, and they're going into hell. This is like all... I told you the last 100 pages of a Sarah J. Maas book. I think the 3 legions he sent will be in for quite a surprise when they find that half of Hell's army is still there and waiting for them. Defeating the machines that had malfunctioned all at once. Magic and machines, never a good combination. Oh my god. They just killed an Asteri. Lydia took the antidote, and so like they get their like full scope of powers. I'm so excited to see Bryce and Hunt take the antidote and see like what their powers are. Lydia is basically like how when you would see Agent Daybright in House of Sky and Breath, like how she was all flame, like that's her power. And she literally incinerated Pollux from the inside out. Yeah! Lydia quickly became my favorite character in this book. And she saved her sons. One that like hated her called her mom, because they realized like how much she loves them. Danica knew. Danica like asked Lydia if she had these powers, because when Danica was doing her research, the shifters were fae from another world. Danica had explained, blessed with a fae form and a humanoid one gifted with elemental powers. It confirmed what Lydia had long guessed, why she named Brandon after the oldest legends from her family's bloodline, of a fae king from another world, fire in his veins, who had created stags with the power of flame to be his sacred guard. Wait, what if the shifters that we like talk about, is their world the Throne of Glass world? Why did I just put that together? She just killed Mordok too. Oh my god, she's killing everybody. Oh, and her and Rune are mates. She was about to sacrifice herself, and then the fire sprites did it. She was gonna like use her fire to destroy the suit that the Asteri had made, right? Yeah, that's what she was destroying, right? Or the brimstone missiles. Yeah, whatever, some of their technology. The explosion shook the very world as the missiles ruptured. The heat of it singed Lydia's face, and amid the burning and billowing smoke, 3 tiny white lights burned bright fire sprites, simmering with power. And the fire sprites always make me emotional because they're like the lowest level, and nobody respects them. But like what Lahaba did and what they're doing right now, like they're just so... I sensed the fire in you the moment we met, the queen said. I didn't think yours would manifest so brilliantly, though. That's why Lydia loves the fire sprites. We shall build a new world atop their ashes. And now Rune has his full power. He just took the antidote, and he has like starlight in his shadows. This is weird. And to call back to the beginning of the book, remember when Bryce just kept on repeating how much Rune and Reese looked alike? You're telling me we're not going to say anything about that in this book? Ethan has the Godslayer rifle and the bullet. Oh my god. Connor told me to give it to you, and I'm going to start crying again. Connor said make it count, Bryce. You destroy the first light core and you destroy Midgard itself. He can lie. He lies. You made the core a kill switch for this world to prevent rodents like you from getting any ideas about destroying us. She fired it! His light had been stolen from the people of Midgard. He was a living gate storing that power, and just as she'd taken it from the gates of the spring, just as it had fueled her ascent, fueled her power to new levels, now it became hers. Straight to deep space. Oh my gosh, the palace is collapsing. He was heading to the black hole. Everything's heading towards a black hole right now. This is too much for me to handle. I told her to choose to live, Adis murmured sadly. Why? She wouldn't be Bryce if she had chosen herself. There's nothing that can be done. I have to try. She had left him with the mask, knowing she was heading for death. She left it with her mate who had a little bit of her maid essence in him thanks to Shahar. Oh my god, he's resurrecting Shahar with the mask. What? Shahar simply knelt before Hunt and opened the pilot's door. Oh my god, he leapt in there. They were all pushing against it. Through love, all is possible. Okay. Like, that's like I always thought that was like a Hobby Lobby. Like, you'd see that in the Hobby Lobby, but it really is, because everyone they love is holding the portal open. Bryce lay on the ground. She wasn't moving, wasn't breathing. He finally let the mask say the word he'd been ignoring since he'd grabbed her in the depths of space, dead. Okay, is this Akawar? This literally feels like Akawar. Like, I know that she's not actually gonna die. So how is he gonna resurrect her? The scream that came out of him shook the very world. There was nothing but that scream. See, look, it says she doesn't have a soul. The Underking is gone, Hypaxia said. Any bargains he made with the living or the dead are now null and void. Bryce's soul is hers to do with as she wills. Oh yeah, look, Apollyon. Apollyon's seeing Roga. They're beef. They have beef. Still wondering if I'm gonna do anything with those books. To offer what? My life. My long wicked life cursed me to immortality. Now I'm making it a gift, the gift of Veneer's long life. I give it freely to Bryce Quinlan if she wants it. I learned to really love Jessica in this book, and they're gonna kill her off. After 15,000 years, I've had my fill of Midgard. Thank you, I never knew that, Quinlan, that she meant anything to you. Jessica's brows rose. Of course she does. Do you know how hard it is to find a competent assistant? I hope you find peace. Jessica's face bloomed into a smile. I've already found it, Athalar, thanks to you both. Bryce turned and Jessica was there. Quinlan, you have to go back. The Parthos books are now yours. Protect them, cherish them, share them with the world. 100,000 humans marched up Parthos to save the books, to save their centuries of knowledge from the Asteri. They all knew they wouldn't walk away. I had to run that day. You went into the portal today knowing you wouldn't walk away either. I can offer now what I couldn't then. All those years ago, my family and friends are long gone, and I know they'd want to offer this to you too. The books are yours, and so is the gallery's collection. The paperwork is done. You've got one of the worst self-sacrificing streaks I've ever encountered. Go home, Bryce. This will all be there when you're ready. Okay. I was happy to give my life. I know. That's why I'm here. The angel's waiting for you. This will all be here when you're ready. We'll all be here when you're ready. No. Okay. What? It says we'll all be here when you're ready. Far out on a distant hill stood 7 figures. Bryce knew them by shape, knew them by their heights and the glow around them. She picked out Connor standing tall at the back and standing at their front, a hand upraised. Bryce began crying, and it was pure joy and love that burst from her as she lifted a hand in greeting toward Danica. Danica here with everyone safe and loved. She heard the words out on the wind carried from her friend's soul to hers, lighted up Bryce. Wolfish laughter flowed to her, and then there was a spark of light by Danica's shoulder, and Bryce knew that fire. She blew a kiss to Lahaba. I'm literally, snot is running down my nose. I'm sobbing. Live your life, Quinlan, and live it well. As Bryce hugged her, she looked one more time towards the hill where Danica and Lahaba and Connor and the pack of devils waved, but they were already gone, off to enjoy the wonders and peace of this place. That is... oh my god. Whew, okay. Bryce found Nesta in the same room with the female had been in before, with Ember and Randall and a handsome, vaguely familiar winged male beside them who smelled like Nesta's mate, sitting around a table talking over tea and chocolate cake. Nesta was instantly on her feet. The male beside her also reached for a concealed weapon, swift as a thought. But Bryce only gazed at her parents, happy and at home with the Fae. The Asteri are gone, Midgard is free. I'm so proud to be your mother. Nesta and her mate tensed, and Bryce knew Hunt had stepped into their world. He peered around the room, glanced at the city sparkling far below. You have 1 minute before Reese gets here and explodes. Oh, Reese will be fine, Cassian, Ember said. Reesian will be fine, the guy who brings darkness incarnate. He and Randall bonded about being overprotective dads, so you know Reese knows exactly the sort. You brought them back. Did you think I wouldn't? I don't know what I thought. I'm glad of one thing, that I was able to meet you. Your mother loves you, Nesta said. Don't for once take that for granted. Of course Nesta would think about that. If you've read A Court of Silver Flames, you get why Nesta said that. With that, she pulled Nesta into her tight embrace, and Bryce could have sworn something like pain and longing crossed Nesta's expression, like she hadn't experienced a mama hug for a long, long time. She gave Nesta the Star Sword. The royal bloodlines of the Fae were wiped from existence. Rune flicked on the lights in the apartment. Bryce is going to throw a fit, but I swear it was the only one available furnished on short notice, he said to Lydia as they stepped inside the home, literally a floor below Bryce's. The fire sprites are working for her in the library. Or whatever it's called. I'm calling it a library. They'd never replace Lahaba, but it filled something in her heart to see them. Flying horses with wings. Jelly Jubilee in the flesh. So how are you gonna have another buck? It is a happy ending, which is great. It's great. I feel like so much happened in that book that I literally can't even wrap my mind around. I don't even know what battery this camera's at right now. Oh my god, I like sobbed so much. I'm not even forming like coherent thoughts. I don't understand. Something that I don't understand. One of the questions I'm like, okay, obviously in the next ACOTAR book, I wonder if the next ACOTAR book will follow Nesta again. Bryce giving her the star sword. It was like, you have the 8-point star tattooed on you, like that's for a reason, figure it out. I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen in the next ACOTAR book? Okay, so Bryce knows that she can like easily open the portals now. Like if I don't understand how there could be another Crescent City book. Cause like everything feels like wrapped up in the sense that there's like, you know, like, yeah, we have stuff to figure out, but it doesn't feel like it could be like a whole entire other book. But there has to be another book because, oh no, House of Many Waters. I just don't see how there could be another book, I guess. But I guess like the first Crescent City book ended and it wasn't like you didn't really think like the Asteri were a threat. You know what I mean? I get the same feeling finishing this one as I did when I finished Kingdom of Ash. Like, okay, yeah, there are like some open-ended things, but like not enough for you, I feel like, to write a whole entire other book. I'm so conflicted. Even just how I feel about the book, period. I don't know. It's like stressing me out because I really don't know how I feel. Also, why did we keep talking about how much Rhys and Rune look like and then we never dived into it? Oh no, my light just went out. Oh, my light's dead. Whatever. This is so valid because if there is another Crescent City book, I think this girl is going to go on to talk about this girl's TikTok that I'm watching. I think she's going to go on to say like that she didn't really care about Tharian's point of view. That is something that's open and wait, this all makes sense because if you like, okay, you've read the book if you're watching the video. Tharian's point of view kind of ends off open-ended. He sees Ariadne, he's going back for Flynn's sister because he likes her, right? He's going back to the Viper Queen and he's probably going to need the House of Many Waters help because there's going to be a big battle with the Viper Queen. Because what if there's a big battle with the Viper Queen and that's why like there's snakes in all of the cover? I feel like she is a villain. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, like I feel like she is. I've always felt like she is a villain. It'll be like Manon's point of view, which this is how I say this every single time I talk about Throne of Glass. I was so bored in Manon's point of view, but her point of views were so important later on into the books. And someone said, I guarantee that's how it's going to be with Tharian. Like, you don't think it's very important, but it'll be very important to go into House of Many Waters. Yeah, literally everyone is saying my exact thoughts. So let me say some of my thoughts. I need to put the dust jacket on though because I want to talk about it with the dust jacket. House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. We're going to talk about some of my thoughts. I'm not going to say a rating because I really do need to sit on the rating, but I know what my thoughts are. I feel like you will be able to tell throughout the entirety of this video, me reading this book, that I just wasn't fully in it. And as I feel like I've said throughout majority of it, it was so much, okay girl, it was so much info dumping that it was a little insane. And I understand, like, yeah, you need, and not that the information boring or whatever, because the way that Sarah J. Maas is able to tie in and execute everything together all in one will never not be astounding to me. Like how she does it, like it's genuinely amazing. I don't mind like the info dumping, like I don't, as long as you have other things going on in the book. And it just felt like a lot of like nothing and just info dumping. We spent majority of the book in freaking caves. That's what majority of the book was, us in caves walking through info dumping. It's gonna serve a greater purpose, 100%. Even the little breadcrumbs we got, I feel like, of talking about the Throne of Glass world, how there's shifters, I feel like that's 100% the Throne of Glass world, and how we learned that the ACOTAR world is the original land of the Fae. I feel like that's gonna do something in either an ACOTAR book or another Crescent City book. I feel so. However, it also feels like the ACOTAR crossover was very, I'm trying to find the word. It feels like she did that and then she didn't do really anything with it, if that makes sense. And I understand it's because the purpose of the world is just for Bryce to kind of be educated about where everything comes from and all of that stuff. But like, it just, I don't know, like it just almost felt the characters were kind of just dangled there for like outside amusement, you know what I mean? Because I feel like, honestly, I don't know, I'm saying this in my own opinion, my own thought, that I feel like obviously people had read Crescent City, but then when you heard about like this book and people reading House of Sky and Breath and being like, oh my god, the ending is crazy and like everybody needs to read this, I feel like it got more people into this series. It kind of felt like you're dangling a carrot in front of the face with the ACOTAR characters to get people more interested to go straight into this book. I will say, I feel like this book is a filler book, which is BS. Look at this book. It's 840 pages of filler. And then I feel like this book, once we got to the battle, was a literal copy and paste of Act of War. What did I say? When Bryce died, I said it's just like Act of War. She's gonna come back somehow. Somebody's gonna sacrifice in some way. Even down to Hunt screaming over Bryce's like dead body, like Feyre did. It was just an exact copy and paste. That's not saying that I didn't enjoy it, because look, I was literally sobbing my eyes out. I have a connection to these characters. I do enjoy the Crescent City book, but that doesn't mean, just because I did enjoy some of the parts, felt emotions towards the book, doesn't mean that I can be like, oh yeah, just amazing. I'll tell you right now that this book is not a 5 star. Pretty much anything that I've read from Sarah J Maas, like I'm like, yeah, 5 stars. Like I am low-key disappointed in this book. It's not the same level as I was when I read Iron Flame. But another parallel that I found with Iron Flame that I felt with this book was just being annoyed with the main character. And I feel like up until like the very end of the book, like when we're going into battle, I was so annoyed with Bryce. Like the entirety of the book, the audacity for Bryce to betray, steal the truth teller, and then go and ask for the mask from Nesta. You know what I mean? It's just so hard though, because I feel like everything is like definitely going to be like a big thing later on into the book, but that doesn't mean that I can't be frustrated right now. This just was disappointing to me. I thought that this was going to be a 5 stars, no doubt, but then I kind of started hearing whispers of people who got their hands on it early that I just got it, that it was not what we built it up to be. All of that to say, I still did enjoy a lot of the book. This made me love Lydia's character. She is one of my favorites. Her and Rune and Hunt and Baxian and Ethan are like some of my favorite characters in this book. It made me love Therian a lot more. I will say, even though I can appreciate Bryce and like her mastermindness and stuff, I do think she's my least favorite like main character. She's just not 100% for me. I don't know why, and I haven't felt like that through any of the other books with her. This book did it for me though. Like even when they're all looking at her at one point. Even one point, like, Hunt is disappointed because, I mean, in the end, she, like, you know, writes off all the Fae. And she's like, we're no longer doing the Fae hierarchies and all of that stuff. Because it does, like, when you put that position of power in, you know, obviously it doesn't really work that well. But she was basically like, yeah, after I killed the Asteria, like, it's not my problem. Like, I don't really care what happens to the Fae. I'm not really going to think about it. And everybody around her was like, you're just... So you'll go as far to kill the Asteria, but you're not going to try to think about your people. And it was just, I don't know, like, just her. And then this book definitely, it also reminds me of Act of War. There are, like, romantic elements to this book, but I honestly wasn't even in it for the romantic elements. I'm saying this for those of you who, like, you know, you go into Sarah J Maas books, and I feel like if you were a reader of ACOTAR, and, like, I feel like Throne of Glass is not a romantasy. I will die on that hill. There are romantic elements, but I feel like it's a lot more plot and, like, politically based. This book in particular, because the other Crescent City books are a little bit more kind of, I would almost, well, House of Sky and Breath, I would almost compare to, like, A Court of Silver Flame, the romantasy vibe, and, like, political all in one. This one does not really focus on that. There's, like, 3 or 4 scenes in this book. Why am I telling you guys this like you haven't read it? If you watch this video, you guys know. Anyway, I don't know a rating for this book. I know it's not a 5 stars, but I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed going through these emotions with me. I'm just glad that I've read it, and I'm glad that I don't have to sit and think about it anymore, because it's also a thing that I was like pondering, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? But I did cry a lot. I do love these characters. I loved the story. I think the book is good. I'm not saying the book is bad. I'm gonna go watch a bunch of TikToks and go down that rabbit hole for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below your guys' thoughts on the book. As always, I appreciate you guys and love you guys so much. And here's to us waiting who knows how long for another Sarah J Maas book. I love you guys. I will see you when I see ya. Peace.